Good morning, children. This is Ayanna. Today we are discussing about important topic, that is Lewis dot structures. Lewis dot structures. What is the meaning for Lewis dot structures? Lewis dot structures. In this Lewis dot structures mainly depends on valency electrons. Valency electrons of an elements. Valency electrons of an elements. These Lewis dot structures we can easily write based on its symbols and based on its symbols and based on its valency electrons. Valency electrons. See, children, here we can observe this Lewis dot structure. Before we can write Lewis dot structures. Before we can write Lewis dot structures, we can follow some points. That is, it depends on valency electrons. Valency electrons. Valency electrons. Valency electrons of an element. Valency electrons of an element. And after this one, here we can write any molecule we can consider. In those molecule structure, we can write based on central atom. Based on which atom? Central atom. Based on central atom. And after this one, here we can write any molecule we can count total number of valency electrons are present in each element. This is the Lewis dot structure. And very important point, that is this Lewis dot structures is denoted by dot or cross. And it is also we can write based on octet rule or octet. What is the meaning for octet? Oct means what is the meaning for oct? Oct means octet. Octet means any element contains 8 electrons in its outermost shell. This is called as the octet. Like we can follow the Lewis dot structure. The Lewis dot structure for H2 or H2 molecule. See, children, here hydrogen atomic number we can consider 1 and its electron configuration 1s1, and another hydrogen atom also 1 and its electron configuration is 1s1. It contains how many electrons in its valence shell? Only 1 electron, that is H dot. Here also H dot. These two are combined. These two are combined. Here we can write H2 dots. H2 dots. H2 dots. H2 dots. This is the Lewis dot structure for H2 molecule. H2 molecule. Like for example, this is the example first one. And second example, like we can consider helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. These all we can call as inert gases or noble gases. It contain 8 electrons in its outermost shell except helium. Helium only contains how many electrons in its outermost shell? 2 electrons. This is called as duplet electronic configuration. But remaining all elements, neon atomic number is 10, but electron configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. But its outermost shell, how many electrons are there? 8 electrons are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the neon dot structure, children. Neon dot structure. And after this one, here we can follows very important one. Very important one. That is Lewis dot structure for different type of molecules. Different type of molecules. Like for example, chlorine molecule. See children, here chlorine is belongs to which group? 7th or 17th group. It contains how many valency electrons? 7 valency electrons. See, this is the chlorine and this is the another chlorine. These two chlorines are combined. These two chlorines are combined. These two chlorines are combined to form chloride molecule. This is the chloride molecule. See children, here we can observe this is the bonding pair or bond pair. But here we can consider this chlorine. This chlorine contains how many electrons? See, here we can observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total this chlorine contains how many electrons? 8 electrons. And this chlorine contains how many electrons? This chlorine also contains how many electrons? 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 8 electrons. Here, one doubt is arised in our minds. Like this chlorine contains 8 electrons and this chlorine contains 8 electrons. But these 2 electrons are sharing between these 2 chlorine atoms. That's why in this each chlorine atom contains how many electrons? 8 electrons, and it can follow octet electronic configuration. Octet electronic configuration, children. This is the chlorine molecule. And after this one, here we can follow another example like a water, H2O. Here we can consider H2O. Write the dot structure of H2O molecule. Here oxygen acts as a central atom. Oxygen belongs to which group? 16th group or 6th group, and its atomic number is 8, and it contains how many valence electrons? 6 valence electrons. 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. This is the 6 valency electron. Each hydrogen contain 1 electron, that is 1s1. That is a 1s1. See children here, hydrogen 1. Next hydrogen also 1. But oxygen contain how many valency electrons? 6 valency electrons. 6 valency electron. This is the water. This is the oxygen. And we can write the structure of water molecule. This is the structure of a water molecule. See, this is the bond and this is the bond. Here 2 electrons are there. Here 2 electrons are there. See children, here we can observe. Here we can observe. This is the hydrogen. This is the second hydrogen. These 2 hydrogens when follows doublet or doublet. But this oxygen contain how many electrons after this water molecule formation? 8 electrons. 8 electrons. This is the important one children. And after here we can follow NH3. Like for example, here we can consider like a C2H4. This is called as ethene molecule. Which molecule? Ethene or ethylene molecule. First we can observe. According to these rules, first depends on valence electrons and any molecule structure we can write based on central atom. Any molecule we can count total number of valence electrons are present in each element. See, here we can observe how many carbon atoms are there? 2 carbon atoms. Each carbon atom contain 4 valency electrons. Another carbon also 4 valency electrons. 4 valency electron. Each hydrogen contain 1 valency electron. And each hydrogen contain how many valency electrons? 1 valency electron. Total here we can consider 4 plus 4, 8, 8 plus 1, 9, 9 plus 1, 10 electrons. How many electrons? 10 electrons. Now here we can observe its structure like a C and next C and next hydrogen. See children here 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. See, first this electron belongs to hydrogen. This electron belongs to hydrogen. And this electron belongs to hydrogen. This electron belongs to hydrogen. But each carbon contains how many electrons? See here we can observe 1, 2, 3. But it has one electron is deficient. That's why it can form a double bond. That's why it can form which bond? Double bond. See children, here we can observe. This carbon contains how many electrons? 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This carbon contain how many electrons? 8 electrons. How many electrons? 8 electrons. And this carbon also contain how many electrons? 8 electrons. How many electrons? 8 electrons. 8 electrons. 8 electrons. See, actually each carbon contain 8 electrons. Each carbon contain 8 electrons. But here we can observe how many electrons are there? 16 electrons, but in its structure 10 electrons are present. 10 electrons are present. Here we can observe after structure it contain 8 electrons. It is also contain 8 electrons. And this hydrogen 2 electrons. This hydrogen also how many electrons? 2 electrons. This hydrogen also how many electrons? 2 electrons. This hydrogen also how many electrons? 2 electrons. 2 electrons. 2 electrons. This is the structure for a different type of molecules. Different type of molecules. Lewis dot structures. Lewis dot structures. After this one, here we can follow CO2. Which molecule? CO2. That is called as carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. See children, here carbon. How many valence electrons? 4 electrons. And oxygen, how many valence electrons? 6 valency electrons. Another oxygen also 6 valency electrons. Total 4 plus 6, 4 plus 6 how many? 10. 10 plus 6, 16 electrons. Now we can write its structure C. 1, 2, 3, 4. And each oxygen contain how many electrons? 6 valence electrons. 2, 4, 6. Here this oxygen also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Before we can write its structure, we can observe total number of electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus 6, 12. 12 plus 4, 16 electrons. But here we can observe oxygen needed 2 electrons, get 8 electrons in its outermost shell. Carbon needed 4 electrons, get 8 electrons in its outermost shell. And another oxygen also needed 2 electrons to get 8 electrons in its outermost shell. That's why it can form a bond. Like this is the bond. And here we can consider these 2 electrons are cancelled, and here we can write these 2 electrons. Like see, here we can observe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It contains how many electrons? 8 electrons. 8 electrons. See children, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This oxygen also contains how many electrons? 8 electrons. But this total carbon contain how many electrons? This total carbon contain how many electrons? 8 electrons. 8 electrons. This is the dot structure for a carbon dioxide molecule. Carbon dioxide molecule. And after this one, here we can follow another one that is observed like a NO2. NO2 minus. NO2 minus. See, here we can observe NO2 minus. In NO2 minus, actually N valency electrons. How many valence electrons? 5 electrons. And each oxygen how many electrons? 6 electrons. Each oxygen how many electrons? 6 electrons. And by the adding of 1 electron, because of it contain a negative charge, that's why total 6 electrons. Here 2 into 6 electrons. Total how many? 18 electrons. How many electrons are there? 18 electrons. See, here we can write the structure of NO2 minus. First nitrogen. It contains how many valence electrons? Generally 5 plus 1 electron. Like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each oxygen 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another oxygen also 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can count this one. Here we can observe this one. Now we can count this one. Total here 6 electrons. Here also 6 electrons. Here also 6 electrons. 6 electrons. Now here we can observe its structure like in the form of like in the form of like this structure. We can write first one. See children, here we can observe. Here we can observe. See children, here we can observe this 6. Here we can observe one bond, 2 bonds between first oxygen and nitrogen. See, here we can observe this structure. In this structure we can observe this oxygen contain how many electrons? 8 electrons. And this nitrogen also contain how many electrons? 8 electrons. 8 electron. After this structure, like a, it can be modified. O. This is the structure. Now here we can observe this oxygen also contain how many electrons? 8 electrons. 8 electrons. This is the structure for this 8 electrons. This is the structure for NO2 minus children. NO2 minus children. Okay. These are all Lewis dot structures are very, very important for 10th class and intermediate either IIT exams and mains and NEET exams. Okay, who are subscribe my channel, I thanks to you, and who are not subscribe my channel, please subscribe my channel, please help me, and I will provide different type of topics classes in next videos. Okay, for either any competitive exams and board exams also children. Okay, thank you children.